Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? Welcome to the How to Craft Network studio. I hope you're all well. Yes, I was just stretching off there. I have just had a really big biscuit and it's not sitting well. I hope you're all well. Lovely for you to join me. It is 1 o'clock and this is the How to Craft Network studio, where you can come and get some fun, inspiration, creativity. And today is no different. We're going to be working on our Create Together Club. Awesome. Class number 4. Now on the back, you can see class 1, then 2, then 3, and then hopefully this little space here is going to be number 4. Now you all know with our Create Together Club we always do 7 sessions. And this is number 4. If you want to join the club, you can absolutely do that. I have linked it to the show underneath this live. So you can go and check that one out. So basically it's 3 stamps, 3 A5 stamps that we give you a week's worth of content on each. And it all goes onto the YouTube channel under our Create Together playlist, and you can watch it at any time. And I did notice in some of the comments earlier that some of you said I've got a lot of catching up to do. You have got a lot of catching up to do. All of you. Now, actually, some of you are actually on track. I've seen some of the lovely makes as well. So if you want to check that one out, it's all in the description. You can check that one out. Now, we are coming to the end of chapter 2, Create Together Club, okay? There will be a chapter 3, and we'll talk about that on the last day. I'm changing it up a little bit, and I'll talk to you about that one on day 7 of the Create Together Club, which will launch later in the year. I'll pick the dates and let you all know. So we're still going with the theme of Create Together Club. It's a wonderful club. It gets us all interactive. It makes us use products we wouldn't probably normally buy or something that would strike our attention. So it's really good to be given some inspiration, some guidance on products that we wouldn't normally buy, and we get to be creative together. And it's always wonderful to see how you all interpret it different and how we all be creative in our own right. So let's do a little shout out. Hi Bernadette, Glynis, Shirley, Marilyn, Michaela. Lots of you on. You did say you liked the 1 o'clock, so here we are. Now today we're changing it up. I hope everyone's well, and I hope everyone's having a lovely day and you're all fed. You've got your cup of tea or your cup of coffee. I've got a nice cup of coffee here, so I'm ready to go. So today we're changing it up and we're going to go technique. Okay, so technique you can try with any of your stamps. You don't have to be part of our Create Together Club to do the techniques. Do any of the cards for that matter. If you're being creative, that's all that matters. So I'm going to be using my wow powders today. I've just grabbed a whole bunch of my wow powders and we're going to have some fun with wow today with our lovely Create Together Club. And this is encouragement again to use any embossing powders you might have in your stash, whether it's My Colours, wow, other branded products. They're all embossing powders and they're probably the ones that you love, or else you wouldn't have bought them. You'll be able to dig those out today and let's do something different. So today, if you thought you were going to just make a pretty card, you're wrong. We're going to do some techniques today. And also, I'm going to try them, and if they don't work, then you haven't lost anything, because I have a funny feeling one of the techniques I'm going to do this afternoon is going to ruin something. But at least if I ruin mine, you haven't ruined yours. That's all I'm saying. So we'll talk about it in a second, Charlotte Palmer. Absolutely. Lovely to see you all. So let me just show you the 3 stamps. So these are the 3. So let's get them in some form of, oh, they're actually in order. Here we go. So if you join the club, you'll be sent all 3, and there's a week of content on this one, then this one, and we're on to day 4 of this one. Normally we send them in envelopes and we do not ask you to open them until the reveal, or we create with them. I know a lot of you cheated, but and a lot of you still can't find stamp number 3 because you put it in such a safe place you can't find it. Hopefully you found it by now. Fingers crossed, hey? So, wow powders, what we're going to do. Before I get into the Create Together Club though, I've attached some of the wow powders that I'm going to be using. So we have Never Give Up, which is the ones that sold out on TV. Now I do have a bunch of these left for myself. If you missed out on them on TV, they're there. How long for? I have no idea. I think there is about 90 units only. Okay, it's not a lot. If you missed out of it on TV, you can grab it there. Also on the screen there, we have Wow Metallic Gold Rich and Wow Metallic Silver. Now, I'm showing you these because if you like this technique and you don't have any wow at all, then you've got an opportunity to get it. But equally, if you have wow in your stash, you can use what you have. And then just moving along there, we have our club gift, which is a gift of some form. We try and do a gift for you all, whoever is in our club, at a reduced price. And this is a lovely, lovely die word set. So it will go to TV at £18 at some point. But if you are in my club, this is an opportunity for you to get a little bit of a bargain. You've all joined my club. And although you get the sales, the discounts, the goodie bags, I also try and give you one product a month where you can get a saving. And it's this one, the A4 one. We did previous, sold out. The Gossip Sparkle pens, which we did previous, that sold out. So this is probably going to be no different. So it's the lovely die set words. I know a lot of you have already ordered this. The girls are getting them out the door today, which is wonderful. So if you are in the club, go and get that. Second club is the Create and Craft Club. And you all saw that I did this embossing folder free. Now, if you haven't got your embossing folder, go to Create and Craft, log into your account, and all you need to do is pay the postage on this embossing folder. It's beautiful. Now, I am going to use this in a technique today. I've no idea if I'm going to ruin it, but at least if I ruin it, you're not going to ruin yours at home and don't have to do what I'm going to do. But I have an idea, and I'm not sure if it'll get melted, but at least if it melts mine, it's not yours. Okay, so I think if it works, you'll all be getting your embossing powders out from any brand you've gone, and you'll be having a play today. Julie, mine's on its way, brilliant. But if it don't and it melts my embossing folder, then you all know not to mess around with embossing folders with heat, because although I do say they're pretty indestructible, I have no idea really when it comes to heat. So shall we have a play? So I have my metallic rich gold here, and as you can see, I've had it years and it's still to the top, so I need to use it. And then I've just grabbed a whole different bunch of embossing powders. So from your stash, get some sparkly ones. If you've got my new green ones and they've just arrived from TV, they'll be perfect for this. So I just grabbed a whole bunch going my way off my trolley here. Listen, whatever you do at home, I'm sure yours will be beautiful. So just use the colours that you like. I also grabbed some glitter because, you know, we're changing it up today. So today is about technique using the embossing folder and the Create Together Club stamp. But what have I missed, Julie? You're all right, you haven't missed much. But if you don't have Create Together Club, don't have the embossing folder, maybe play around with what you already have in your stash. And then at least you're playing with the products that you spent your money on from old. So shall we get straight in? Listen, I have no idea. I'm a bit sceptical about it. And I was going to have a play before I went live. However, Sarah from Funky Fossil walked in the building. So we've been doing a schedule for her shows as well in here as well. And we sort of like lost time. We're having a good old catch-ups because we haven't been together since Port Sunlight. So she sort of like stole my time. So honestly, if anything goes right or wrong today, it's by total fluke. And hopefully you will be the same at home today. Let's have a look. Oh, Donna, are we all hiding behind the sofa now watching? You'll be like that, won't you? Did it melt? Did it melt? Woo! Raise your head from the parapet, it didn't melt. We'll see, won't we? We have done a similar technique to this before where we like double embossed and then we stuck our stamp in, and that's one of the techniques I'm going to do today, but we're going to do it on an embossing folder and we're going to add sparkles and techniques and see what happens. I might get one good card out of it. Let's see what happens. So I have my stamp. You're going to need an acrylic block because we're going to be putting a stamp into the powder. I have this because all my acrylic blocks are still with my USA travel. I still haven't emptied the box. So I've just got this stand here, and hopefully this will use as like a stamping block. You won't be able to use Eureka or anything like that simply because of the time that you move the hot wow powder into the Eureka and then stamp. It's probably going to go cold, so you're probably not going to get the effect, okay? Before I do the stamp, I think we should do the technique with the embossing folder, and let's see if our embossing folder melts, okay? And then if it goes horribly wrong, I can hopefully recover it with the stamp. Oh, everybody's frightened. Are you all frightened? Get away with you, you're not frightened. Right, I'm going to do the embossing folder one first. Now, I can't speak for anybody else's embossing folders, but if it works, my embossing folders are all the same. You can use the technique on any of mine. Please be mindful that other branded embossing folders might be different. So if you're attempting it on another one, I cannot be held responsible, she says. So let's do the embossing folder one first, and then if it all goes horribly wrong, hopefully I can recover it. Oh, Nola's baby's waking up. I'll catch you later, sweetheart. Right, so let's do my embossing folder on some black. Now, I think I'm going to have to be pretty quick. So let's just make sure my card's the right size. So that's the embossing folder, that's free. It's a beautiful one, and I've seen lots of you using it in your techniques and things like that. But today we're going to try something totally awesome, and hopefully it'll work. I have never seen anybody use an embossing folder in hot powder before, unless somebody's going to tell me different, probably because they're all scared. So we'll give it a go, and then hopefully I might have found a technique that nobody's ever done in the world and I can claim rights to it. Probably not. Right, let's have a drink of coffee, grab a breath. Julie's waiting with bated breath. I know you are. None of you are going to try it either before me, are you? None of you are going to craft along, because I know what you're all like. You're like, well, let Tony do it first. Do not set your house on fire. Crikey, I laugh about it, but I'm being serious. Just be careful. Right, so let's get our black cardstock. Now, you're going to need your sticky ink pad. So I've just got my WOW one here. So let's get some sticky ink on here. So I need to give it a good old push down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss one layer and then do it again to get the thickness, okay? So let's just get some on here. Now, what I found with my heat guns as well in the past is after time, they sort of like stop working because they're overheated. It happened, if you remember, when I had my show with Marion. So just be mindful of that if you are doing a lot of heat embossing, your gun might just not want to do anymore because it feels like it's getting too hot. So just bear that in mind, okay? So let's go. Let's just do a gold first, shall we? Let me just bring my trolley in here. Right, I've got just a gold regular here, okay? So I'll probably use regular, then I might use a thick. We'll see. So let's get the gold. Let's just grab some card to get rid of the excess. You can say you're doing a Tony. Oh, gosh. So let's get this covered with this embossing powder here. So I didn't go right to the edge as such. Bearing in mind, you'll be able to trim the card down anyway. So let's just get some powder on it to start with, hey, and get it melted. This will be like our foundation. Like so. Just get it covered. Let's just get rid of this for now. But I think if it works, you know, you'll be able to be really creative with this sort of technique in so many other areas as well. We'll see. So I'm going. So I'm not going to be putting this one into the embossing folder. I'm going to do it, put some more on top to get a bit of depth, see what it looks like. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, Glynis. I know, hold your breath, sweetheart. So get your gun hot. And then we'll just get this one changed. So we've got like our foundation. Magical, hey? We have, if you've never seen WOW before, or powders or anything like this before, we have a ton of it on the website. We have the guns, we have the sticky ink, we have all of the WOW powders you could possibly imagine. So that's our layer, first layer. Pretty boring, I know, but it does get better, I promise. So I'm just going to give this a dry. Cool down. Cool down. And then I'm going to take my sticky ink again, and I think I'm going to go. Now, if you don't have the thick, it's not necessary. All you need to do is do the thin one. Excuse me, I've got something in my eye now. Do the thin one 2 or 3 times just to get the bulk. Whereas with the thick one, I shouldn't have to do it that many times because it's sort of like ultra. This one says ultra high. So I shouldn't have to do it as many times. But if you only have the little ones, they will work. You'll just have to do it more times, okay? So, right, so let's get our sticky ink back on here. So I'm just sort of like covering it again. And then I think I'm going to do the thick one. You can see it's different in granules, it's thicker. Let me just grab some bigger cardstock. You can see it's thicker. Last you a lifetime, this. Just set that to one side. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to heat set, and then I'm going to quickly pop it into the embossing folder and run it through my machine, hopefully. And breathe. Let's have a drink of coffee first, shall we? Julie says she loves the Thirsty Brush neon paints. Aren't they lovely? They're a bit bright for me, but I would rather have them too bright and be able to pull them back than not bright enough and have to layer and layer and layer. They're wonderful, aren't they? They're really good. Right, let me get my die cutting machine ready. Turn it on. Right. So make sure you've got all your stuff ready to go to get this sort of impression. And if my embossing folder does not open after it, it means it's all stuck shut. And I'll get Tim to open it with pliers later, okay? Right, let's get this heat set. I am nervous, actually. Annette, get ready. Hold on to your pants, everyone. Hang on a minute. Let me make sure I've got my embossing folder the right way too. Right, that's right. In fact, it might help if I open it, look. Right, I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm not talking. So I'll just give it all a quick waft right down to the bottom again. Oh, my guns. Catch my gun. Right, it's in, it's in. Quick. I can feel all of you at home holding your breath. Has it melted? What do you think? Could be a sticky situation. I did do it wrong way. It's debossed. Oh, what a shame. But, are you ready for this, Tim? Are you ready for the reveal? Are you ready? He's like, yeah. Are you ready? Now, honestly, I've never tried this before. I didn't try it before coming to it. I didn't know how it would work. It has, if you look, curled my embossing folder slightly. But you know what? I'm over it already. Are you ready? You ready? Go for it! Go for it, says Julie. Look at that. Who's a giddy kipper now then? It didn't melt, everyone. Amanda says hers worked. Did you do it too, sweetheart? How amazing is that? Do you know what? I even checked my embossing folder, didn't I? And it was wrong. Do you know what? There's the back look, as you can see, that's the deboss. But my goodness me. Now let me just trim those grubby edges because we didn't take it to the edge. It's gorgeous. I know. Now we've taken away that awful black, ugly. Look at that. Who's with me? Who's going to be trying this at home? Let's just check our embossing folder. This is, look, it has got a slight camber on it. But guess what? It'll still work. I promise you it'll still work. You could actually probably bend it back. But yeah, look. It'll still work. Tony's a giddy kipper. I have some really old folders we'll try later. Good work, good work. You have to call it the Tony technique, because I don't think you've ever seen that. I'm joking. Most people will say, it's been done years. You know what people are like? How cool is that? Now, if you do it right, a couple of tricks and tips here. If you do it and you're not happy with it, right, put some sticky ink back on top, add some more powder and melt it back and it'll just go smooth again. Okay, so if you maybe your embossing folder moves, or you've picked a colour and you're like, oh, I don't like the colour, sticky ink it again, throw the colour on top, what you want, and you'll end up with some fabulous results anyway. And then heat it and it'll all just melt into a big bubble again, and then you can go for it again. That is going on a card. Now, I'm going to call that the gilded effect. Or it actually looks like a wax seal effect, doesn't it? Gilded effect or wax seal effect. I'm pleased with that. Now, let's try it with some stamps. A little bit different this time. So, well, I can't tell you how chuffed I am with that. And it didn't melt my embossing, and it's got no marks on it either. Really durable embossing folders, you know, really durable. Right, so let's have some fun with the stamps now, just in case I needed to recover. So I think, wouldn't it be cool if we did a gold piece of card with an embossed gold on top? Does that make sense? So let's do a puddle of gold and then stamp the flower from the stamp set in it. See what that looks like. So this is like a brushed gold. If we put the sparkly gold on, we might end up with a really cool technique, okay? Shall we try that? Julie, it will work. Oh no, it won't work cold. Don't think so. I think when I squidged it a little bit before I put it through my die cutting machine, it went pretty hard, pretty quick. You'd probably get some detail maybe. I don't know. Try it. Do it cold and see if you get the depth. You might. Listen, I'm here to inspire you. I can't wait to see what you're all going to do. So here's the gold. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to sort of like do a panel. So I'm going to get the sticky ink and I'm just going to sort of like highlight a panel in the centre here. So rather than squidge it down full, I'm just going to sort of like side swipe a panel. So you can see there, it's got the ink on there. There you can just see it there, sticky. I'm just going to turn it the other way. I'm doing like a rectangle panel in the centre of this sort of brushed gold. This is my all surfaces cardstock. So hopefully it'll be good. But again, all cardstocks are different. I have no idea if this will work. It might even lift the gold off the back of the card. I have no idea. But this is the beauty of this wonderful studio, is we get to play as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll go, let's get some gold on. Because I think gold on gold will look really pretty, and I'm a fan of gold, as you all know. So we'll get some gold on. First, let's just sort of like get that first as our like foundation. Just need my embossing brush. There we go. Get rid of all that. You can tidy it up a little bit if you want to. Keep it neat. There we go, tidy it up a bit. Got rid of any nasty fingerprints. So let's heat set this one first, and then we'll add a bit of colour, maybe. See what I mean? So I mean, my gun's gone really hot. So I got my backup out of my bag for TV. So just bear that in mind. If you're wanting to do this technique, you are going to have to give your gun 10 minutes to cool down. So I'm just going to swap my gun for my one I have for telly. And it's not a bad thing, you know, that it doesn't carry on, because it does prevent any health and safety issues. Because I was once in a house fire when I was little. Not a good sketch. Right, let's get this on then. So get your gun hot. So again, test the cardstock. So I'm just doing like my foundation here. So there we have like a nice soft, subtle like foundation. Then I'm just going to take my, oh, just move that a second. Then I'm just going to take, excuse me, take the sticky ink again. I'm just going to swipe it again in the same area. And this time, let's add some other colours, hey? So whatever colours you've got in your stash. So I've got here Going My Way. And I'm just going to do the salt and pepper sort of effect here. So let's just bend this back a little bit. So I'm just going to take some in my fingers here. Just a little bit. And then let's get rid of that excess off that. I've got that, and then I think we'll take some of the thick gold again, maybe. I feel like I'm baking a cake. Just move that one. Then let's put some of the thick gold on too. And then let's just get rid of this. Gold on gold with the Have a Go Oriental Girl. Yeah, good shout, that one. Would look stunning. Right, so I've got a bit of gold, and I've got the one, if you wanted to do this at home, because I know a lot of you've got the Going My Way is the other one I used. So before I actually heat set that, I'm going to grab acrylic block stand, whatever you have, and then I'm going to use the flour. You know the tall, thin flour? I'm going to stick it onto here. Ready to go, so that when I heat set, I'll be able to pop my flour inside. Can you see there? Now again, I cannot say if this is going to work with everybody's stamps, so just be mindful of that, okay? I think Emma once did it with a different brand and it melted, so if you're trying it out for the first time, try it on a stamp that you're not particularly bothered about, okay, from an older, from old. Now you could ink this up in a black ink and push it in, so you've got a gold imprint in there as well. Should we actually do that? Or should we, or do you think we should do a white? Where's my white? I got my white, have I? Oh, I have. Could you just pass me that white, please? Thank you. I'm going to ink this up in white, ladies and... I'm going to ink this up in white, look. Just because we can, I guess. And let's see what that looks like. If it don't come out all right, I've still got the great embossing folder technique to hold me head high with. Right, so let's heat set this one. If you're able to share the show, that would be fantastic too. So I'll make sure it's nice and hot. so it's nice and hot, and then hopefully it won't cool down too fast. I think you're going to have a little bit of pressure on this, guys. Something heavy, maybe. It might not work. It might not have the pressure, or it might work. We'll soon find out. If it doesn't, you know, I'm going to... Oh, my life. It's there. The depth is there, but it's not deep enough. So what I'm going to do... Try again. Is I'm going to, let me just get some tissue on that white ink. Actually, don't look too bad, does it? Not where I want it to be, though. So I'm just going to take my sticky ink again, and I'm just going to smudge it away. I'm just going to add some more sticky ink. And I'm going to do a thicker emboss and see if we get the detail then. So again, some more embossing powder. In fact, let's just put it all in a... It's thicker. Now, it might work this time because we've got the thicker embossing powder, but I guess you're never going to know unless you experiment. So now you're watching me, you know to skip that bit. Make sure your embossing powder's really thick. I'm not going to re-ink the stamp either. I'm going to leave it as it is. It's still got a bit of white on there. Let's heat set this one then. Let's try this time. Hopefully this time. Oh, that's better. Now we've got an embossed image. Thank goodness for that. Can you see that there? Which, I think that might have been what Paul's done here. Look, guys. Obviously, his is way thicker than mine. Can you see? That'd make a nice bookmark trim down, actually. I'm now wishing I didn't ink the stamp up white. Do you know if we stamped on top now with black, that'd work or not? I'm going to come back to that, let that dry. I'm going to do the house next. Drum roll. So far, the embossing folder's taken the lead. So I need to swap out for the house now, because we're going to do something different with the house. So you know the stamps from Stamps by Me will work fine as well. So let's try black cardstock this time. I promise you I will get all these on cards for the picture. Paul's is really thick. It is really, really thick. I wonder if he's... I know what he's done. Just come to me. You know the... I'm going to sneeze now. Excuse me. You know the Yorkshire pudding tins we had from Marion's show, which are actually on the website, the Wow. He's put it in there, melted it from underneath and tipped it on. That's how he's got that big blob. is tipped it on like a wax seal, you know, like when we do is tipped it on and then dunked it in, which I'd love to try, but I'm not. I am not that brave. Okay, and I think then he's gone over with another one on top. What do I know? Anyway, black card this time. So I have, this is the last one I'm going to try. I have glitter. Chunky glitter at that as well. This one. Now, if you've got some chunky glitter, you might want to try this technique, but we're going for it again. I also have my Poppin' Wow powders as well by Ashley. So that way you get that colour. So I think, shall we just have some fun and mix all these together? Shall we try glitter? I've got that many different ones. Hang on a minute, let's see what's got going on down here. Swing Baby. That's clear. Clear's no good. My nose has gone now because I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. Sounds about right. Sounds about right, Michaela. Right. We're doing the house. You see that white ink in there? It's now wet. And normally pigment ink, we throw a clear on and heat set it, don't we? Or let it dry. It's going to take a while to dry. But if you put a clear on there and heat set it with a gun, I'm going to lose my image. So any thoughts on how I can seal that, ladies and gentlemen, without losing my design? Let me know. Do you know what, though? If you swipe that now with a black ink pad, in fact, I'm going to at the end. Because you know how good it looks just in black, in like that. If I swipe that now with a black ink pad, I'll do that at the end. I'm getting a bit giddy. Right, a bit carried away. Right, so let's do... I think we need to go thick. So I'm going to go with the thick to prevent me from having to do it loads of times and get those layers. So let's get our pad here. My nose has gone. That's because I'm sneezing. So I'm going to ink up this here now. So let's try the house this time. Have we got a tissue anyway? Oh, it's all right, I've got one here. Just blow my nose, ladies and gents. I'm sorry, you don't want to listen to me sniffing. So, sticky ink pad, and I think... Oh, decisions. Right, I'm going to grab it all. We're going for it this time, guys. Got Poppin' Pink. Random. Poppin' Pink. What else we got? Poppin' Teal, green. Could you use white? Could absolutely use white. My white's in my TV bag, though. Let's do Swing Baby. This has got a bit of chunk in it. Look. And then let's do the... So if we shake that off and then whatever's not got any on, we'll put the gold on here. Like so. Can you see that there? Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Set that aside. It's contaminated now. Right, let's do gold. Let me just get rid of that, just 1 second. Right, gold this time. All over. See there? Right, so let's heat set this. See what's appertaining. I think if you're asking me, could we do it with white or could you do it with this? Amanda, you need to do it. I was like, let me know. Let me know. Be careful though, guys, because it's obviously a hot gun. Or, I've just had another thought. Paul's not on because he's working, bless him. But, is that, do we think that might be a hot glue gun? You know, hot glue, maybe? Paul's going to be bombarded with messages, isn't he? Right, so let's heat set this one. I've got my stamp. No, I'm going to heat set this, let it cool, then add more, and then we'll do the stamp. Ready? To be honest, I'm just pleased I didn't melt my embossing folder. Right, so let's just give it a waft. Looks quite cool, that, doesn't it? Paul will be swamping messages. Right, I'm going to take my sticky ink again. Once it's heat set, you don't ruin your pad either, so don't worry about that. So more sticky ink. And then we'll just do what we've just done again. But this time, I'm going to throw some glitter in as well on my life. If it don't work, don't worry about it. I'm going to take some more of that lovely pink. And I think this pink will look different sat on top of the gold now, you know. I'm sort of like scatter it in places where I love doing this with embossing powders, you know, because they do last a lifetime. And it's just another way of using what you've spent your money on. I mean, I'm now down to, like, to use that on just cards as embossing would take a lifetime. But because I'm using it in the salt and pepper technique, I'm actually using it, which is good. So let's lose the teal one too. So I'm basically trying to spot the coloured ones over the gold, and then the gold will hit where maybe I missed last time. Right, if you're putting glitter in as well, heat from underneath maybe. Or do you add the glitter whilst it's still quite warm? Gold. Lotions and potions. It's not October either. And then I'm going to cover this in gold. And see what this melts through like. There are, in that popping colours, there's some like big pieces of white, so they hopefully will shine through. Do we add the glitter now? Shall we add the glitter now? Let's add the glitter. Mind you, will glitter melt? It's plastic. Oh, what's the worst that could happen? I'm adding chunky glitter now, guys. Oh, this has got hearts in it. I don't think there'll be hearts by the time I've heated them with my gun, but we might have a bit of sparkle. Right, I don't overdo it. I'm pushing it, I think. Right, do we need to shake the excess off? Shake, 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 shake it. Oh, I've lost half of it. I'm putting it back on. Not shaking it off because I lost half of it. Move it around a bit. Right, let's heat set. Are we ready? Stamp at the ready. This is the last one I'm doing with the heat embossing, then I'm going to go back to our embossing folder. Ready? Oh, this is red hot now. This is red hot. Hopefully it'll get me through the technique. In fact, let me feel my other gun. Let's just swap out in case that one packs in. Just 1 second. This one's cooled down now. There we go. Right, let's do it. Oh, you'll have to do it from underneath so that the embossing powder grabs that glitter. concentration on my face, I know. I'll tell you how it goes with the glitter, because I can see it. I'm having to hold it high, I'm sorry. So it is working, it's melting it. The glitter is sitting in situ, which is nice. Once I've got a sort of base, I'll then come from the top. You're all sat at home like, oh my, what on earth is she doing? Well, you know. It actually looks quite cool. Whether it's going to work or not doesn't matter, but it looks quite cool. I'm not going to add ink to this stamp though, guys. I'm just going to sort of like try and get the embossed image in it. Try. So once I've got it sealed, I'm going to go from the top. Whether it's worked or not is another matter. I'll give it a second to grab maybe. I don't know if you might have to, if you leave it a little bit longer, it helps. I have no idea, but hopefully we get something. Give it a second. No, not quick enough. Do you know what? I wonder if you put the stamp straight in, it might help, right? Round 2. So this is what I was saying about melting it back. Can you see here now, as I'm melting it, the image inside that was not great is disappearing. So if you get that sort of stamp and it doesn't do it like now, if this don't work, I would not do this technique, guys. I'm just going to take the stamp direct this time and see if that will do it. You know, with my hand, see if that will help. So I'm just using it without a block this time to see if we get a print or not. And no, I caught it at the top, but not at the bottom. Can we see there? It's just, it is there. The flower and the top of the house is there. There we go. But it's not in it all. So how you do it, I'm not sure. You need to maybe be quicker. If you can get the result, it would be totally awesome, but I don't think I'm being quick enough. So that's that. Don't try this at home. Although it is beautifully sparkly. Such a shame. But anyway, let's go back to our embossing folder. So you know, this one worked. I wonder if this one worked because we had that pigment ink on it. Trial and error, I guess. Or maybe the glitter's too chunky. I'll leave you to experiment. Let me know what works, what didn't. Pop a comment underneath here for anybody that's tried it and has got a technique or a tip for me, because at the end of the 7 days, I always give a 7 winners. I always draw 7 names from anybody that's commented under each day, and I send you all a gift. So we're on to day 4. So if you've commented on all the others, you need to comment on the rest as well to be in with that chance. So let's just bring in this lovely embossing one we did. Now I'm going to ruin this one. Anyway, but let's just take a black ink pad. I'm just going to brush this black ink pad over here. Now you can stop at this point, but I think if we put some black on here, it's going to give it a really different look where people might say, how have you done that? It might not. It might look like tin, it might look awful, but let's try it. At least you know not to do it, because I've done it and it didn't turn out great. Do it in black. A rubber stamp, maybe, Jan. Great shout. If you've got rubber stamps, they might get a deeper finish. Right, so let's... just take your time with it, just smooch it around a bit. Let's just hold that up so you can see. Now you are going to have to let this dry, remember. Looks like a zebra. You will have to let it dry, but I think that's quite a cool effect. However, I like it, right, guys? But here's the deal. If I'd not covered that with a black ink pad, I feel like it looked like a new technique with the gold, didn't it? But now I've covered it in the black, it actually just looks like I've embossed a gold piece of card. So, just bear that in mind. You could actually skip the heat embossing element of it and do it on gold, then cover it in black. But it had a unique look before I covered it in the black, because you got that cracky sort of embossed look, okay? So let me know what technique you do. Oh, I like that. I love that. It is quite pretty. And if you imagine doing it on craft card with a swipe of white or pink, you're going to get a totally different look. So there we go today. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave that technique with you and show me what you make. If anything, let me know if it's a complete disaster or if you've had some success. I'm sure some of you will get some success. I will dry this off and mount it onto a card with a sentiment. It will look stunning, I know that. But that was really the only success of our experimenting today. I'll just pop these in here so you can see we've got half the house on that chunky. We did get that nice white flower on there. Cut down, this would probably make a nice bookmark or something. But here is a result from Paul, where he's done that sort of double, triple embossing there as well. So technique is today, guys. So that is class number 4, using our wonderful stamps. Please do not experiment with the stamps that you love from another company, because they might not work and I would hate for you to ruin them. So just experiment with what you know works, or an older embossing folder, or a stamp as well. Show me your makes, okay? So whatever you're doing, have a lovely afternoon stroke evening. I'm back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Back to cards or a project tomorrow, though, not techniques. And I will see you all then. So have a great evening, everyone. Don't forget to pop a comment underneath here to win that prize at the end of the 7 days. I will see you all later. Take care. Bye.